how are other translators out there using custom GPT or other similar tools to make their translation go faster, more cost effectively, and accurately? I'd like to hear your opinion, but I'm going to share what we're doing right now with my team. Now, we're trying out a couple different solutions like that: ChatGPT's custom GPTs, Gemini Gems, and Claude's projects. And custom GPT is the one that we use most at the moment, and the other ones are more in a testing phase. And I've learned that these tools need a lot of context, they need a lot of information in order to do their job well, and this information needs to be carefully curated so that they have all the right structure and the right context. And I've just been editing this and going over it over and over again as we do more things in the content creation process. So we're using the custom tools to do things like mostly to create drafts and to edit content, but also for the brainstorming process, for the translation process. Of course, I was talking about translation this whole time, right? Okay, translation process. And for basically anything that you can think of that has to do with creating the content, but all managed by a human and contributed to a lot by a human as well. These are the kind of files that we've been uploading to get things to work properly. The first is a glossary. So that's a Google Sheet with Chinese and English translations or other languages if that's involved, as well as some examples. And we use this for important terminology, but not necessarily for everything. We're not using it for every word. We're using it for words that are important for the project's industry, okay? Then we use a marketing and a sales plan. So this is a Google Doc that is it's just a marketing plan. And you know, a lot of companies, they will write down a marketing plan and then they put it away somewhere and they forget it. We've always had the habit, not just for AI, but for a long time, we've had the habit of contributing to the marketing plan over time and continuously updating it to keep humans on the same page. And now we're using those files as well to keep the AIs on the same page so that they understand who they're writing for, who the competitors are, what the goal of the content is, and things like that. Then we include writing guidelines as well. This is the third file. Writing guidelines, we're doing this in a quite detailed way. For example, the writing guidelines for my own company are about 8 pages long in a Google Doc. For some client projects, it's going to be a lot longer because we have multiple different platforms that we're using. So for example, we'll have additional guidelines for them on writing Yahoo Answers, Yahoo articles, RedNote notes, etc. And these writing guidelines are really going to benefit from our experience because we're getting data from many different projects that we're working on, and then these aren't connected. We're not sharing the data between the projects, but we can use that data to inform the guidelines that we create for each project and improve those over time, okay? The next thing that we use is any kind of internal information that might be useful for the marketing process. So we have a little database that is used for a tool to help clients know if they can advertise in China. That's for our own marketing. And they can use the tool itself, but this data can also be used to inform the content created. Okay, so anything that a marketing or salesperson or account manager would use in their communication with potential clients could be used in this AI as well to help the content translation, content creation team do their work. And then we have the full export of all the pages, like web pages or articles or whatever it is, video transcripts in English and Chinese or whatever other languages there are, because this can be used as a source for the AI to learn how the style of content and also to gather information for additional content. This is all becoming very useful for us to do better translations, keep terminology more consistent, and just be able to do more work. So for example, like we have one client now where originally we were just doing their web pages, so creating Chinese language web pages for their website based on English content, but also based on some of our own magic. But now, for the same cost, we've added in additional things, like we're doing some WeChat articles for them, and we're creating some RedNote posts for them, okay? And I think one of the biggest benefits of doing this is we'll just be able to produce more content for every project that we work on. Still, when it comes to creating unique things, so not translation, but the creation of unique content specific for the Chinese market, that will benefit from AI less, but it still does, because it's still useful to use the AI for brainstorming, or maybe creating a structure for an article that's going to be written, a piece that's going to be written, maybe for editing it, etc. Yeah, so that's where we are at now, and I hope this is going to be a lot more developed another month or 3 months from now. It's developing very quickly. I'm interested in hearing what other content creators and translators are doing for their own projects that they're working on. Okay, that's all.